Chapter 9, Smoke and Mirrors. The aftermath of the masquerade lingered like smoke in the air, a residue of tension and unfinished battles. Anna Petrov stood in her study, staring at the wall where photographs and documents had been pinned, their connections mapped out like a web of deceit. The faces of her enemies loomed large, but it was the cracks in her own circle that troubled her the most. Her phone buzzed on the desk, drawing her attention. A single text from Maria. "We need to talk. Now." Anna's jaw tightened. Whatever Maria had uncovered, it wouldn't wait. Maria's revelation. Maria paced the length of her living room, her heels clicking against the hardwood floor. The file in her hands felt heavier than it should, its contents a dangerous truth she could no longer ignore. When Anna arrived, Maria wasted no time, thrusting the file toward her. "This is what Stanton was hiding," Maria said, her voice sharp. "Financial records, encrypted communications, and this." Anna opened the file, her eyes scanning the documents quickly. A photograph fell out, landing face up on the table. It showed Stanton in a clandestine meeting with Helen Radcliffe, their expressions grim. "It's worse than we thought," Maria continued. "Stanton isn't just a pawn. He's been feeding her information for months." Anna's lips pressed into a thin line. "Then we'll use him to our advantage. If he's still useful, we turn the tables." Maria hesitated. "And if he's not?" Anna's gaze was ice. "Then we cut him loose." Sophia's dilemma. Sophia Russo sat in her studio, the chaotic remnants of her latest painting strewn around her. The vivid colors on the canvas seemed garish now, mocking the turmoil that churned inside her. The slip of paper the man in the gray suit had given her lay on the table, its scrawled message burned into her mind. "Meet me at midnight. Alone." She debated whether to tell the others, but something about the man's words haunted her. Trust was a luxury she could no longer afford, but neither was ignorance. She slipped the paper into her pocket, her decision made. Laura's surveillance. In the dim light of her apartment, Laura Williams sifted through the intelligence she'd gathered from the masquerade. Video feeds, intercepted communications and photographs revealed a troubling pattern. Radcliffe was consolidating her power, targeting anyone who stood in her way. Her phone buzzed with a message from Rebecca Stanton. "You're running out of time. She's planning something big." Laura stared at the screen, her jaw tightening. She typed a reply. "Then we strike first. The midnight meeting." Sophia arrived at the deserted warehouse, the air cold and damp around her. The man in the grey suit was waiting, his posture relaxed but his eyes sharp. "You came," he said, his tone neutral. "You said you had information," Sophia replied, her voice steady despite the tension in her chest. "What is it?" He handed her a folder. "Radcliffe's endgame. She's not just dismantling your world. She's replacing it. And she's using people like Stanton to do it." Sophia opened the folder, her breath catching as she scanned its contents. Names, dates, and plans. A blueprint for destruction. "Why are you giving me this?" she asked, her voice laced with suspicion. "Because taking her down serves my interests too," he said simply. "But be careful. She's always 3 steps ahead." Before Sophia could ask more, he disappeared into the shadows, leaving her alone with the weight of what she'd uncovered. Anna's decision. Back at the estate, the wives convened in Anna's study. The tension in the room was thick as Sophia placed the folder on the table. "This is what Radcliffe's planning," Sophia said. "She's not just after us. She's after everything we built." Maria scanned the documents, her jaw tightening. "She's using Stanton to build her network. If we don't stop this now, it'll be too late." Laura leaned forward, her gaze intense. "Then we hit her where it hurts. We expose Stanton, dismantle her network, and force her out into the open." Anna nodded, her expression resolute. "We play this carefully. One wrong move and she'll bury us. But if we're smart, we can end this." The women exchanged determined glances, their unity solidifying. The game had shifted, and they intended to win. The first strike. As dawn broke, the wives launched their plan. Maria's financial acumen uncovered Stanton's offshore accounts, revealing the depths of his betrayal.
Laura coordinated a leak to the media, ensuring his ties to Radcliffe became public knowledge. Sophia reached out to her journalist contact, providing the evidence needed to ignite a scandal. By the end of the day, Stanton's world was unraveling. The headlines were damning, his reputation destroyed. But as the wives watched the fallout from Anna's estate, a new message arrived on her phone. "Nice move, but the game isn't over." Anna's lips pressed into a thin line as she showed the message to the others. "Radcliffe's not done, and neither are we.